Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today you have a different camera angle, barefaced bitch, and that means we're doing a makeup rant, but this time it won't be a real rant, it will be more of a storytelling update, mental health, and why I was so absent online in the last few weeks, because I feel really bad, especially for my patrons, because they give me money for certain benefits that I just couldn't do, and I don't want to just apologize to them privately just on Patreon, because I think it affects all of the people. And as you guys know, I want to be as open as possible about mental health and about struggles, because we all have them, and there's no reason to just keep everything a secret, because we all struggle, and sometimes it helps to share your own struggle, that other people feel better about themselves knowing other people struggle themselves too. So I will do my makeup for a video I will record right after and tell you what was wrong and why I was sitting a little bit in my depression and pitying myself, to be really honest. So I was feeling a little bit better a few weeks ago. I thought, hey, everything is going well, waiting for the kittens and stuff, and then I had a conversation with my dad. Just a little bit throwback story time. My parents divorced when I was 12, and the first few months was pretty good. We were every other weekend with our dad and the rest with mom, and for his kids in the beginning it was hard, like every time your parents have a problem or your family breaks apart, but it was quite okay. And then at some point my bigger sister didn't want it to go, and she has her reasons, and I don't want to talk about my sister's struggles because I don't know if they want it out there, and it just doesn't matter because I'm just talking about my struggles with my dad. And that sounded weird. We have all the same dad. The thing was, baby, that at some point my dad didn't want to pick us up when my bigger sister didn't want to come up. So that did start the whole problem with my dad. At some point, my family didn't want to talk to me as well, and they didn't tell me. I was again 12 years old, and it was Easter, and my cousin came and brought some Easter presents, and my little sister and I were standing at the door. She gave me just a weird look, but this side of the family is weird, so I didn't think much of it. And in the end, I didn't get anything, and my mom was weirded out by it, I was weirded out by it. And a few, I think, days later, I'm not entirely sure, I saw my grandma and grandpa, uncle in the city in a store, and I went there, "Hi grandma, hi grandpa," and wanted to hug them, and they pushed me away, shook their head, and went off. And that was how I told I wasn't part of the family anymore, which was very hard, because for 6 years till this day I hadn't talked to anyone. They never told me why I wasn't a part of the family anymore. And a few years later, I think I was 16, I had a Facebook discussion with my aunt because I posted some song lyrics directed at them but cryptic. And she told me that because my big sisters said they were a-holes, they didn't want to talk with me anymore, because that must mean I think the same way. Of course, makes total sense to me, right? And then I kind of started to think, okay, why does my dad not love me? When I was 18, my dad and I made up, and we were starting talking to each other again. Barely, but we started. And my stepmom tried to be nice, but they hate my mom, and I do not tolerate any offensive suggestions against my mom, because she was there with us. She was, from one day to another day, a single mom with 3 kids. She had to get a job to keep us basically not starving, and she got very sick at the time, and she still made it. She was there for us, even though my dad just went off. And for the last now 15 years, or for the last 10 years now, 12 years, I and my sisters were fighting to be a part of my dad's life. But every time we wanted to meet up, he called us 5 minutes before and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I gotta work." And he called and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I cannot come to your birthday because our turtle is sick." No joke. And then he just started to not talk to my little sister anymore. And she was always hurting when my bigger sister and I were telling her, "Oh, Dad texted us, he's such an idiot and forgot." And it would hurt her because she didn't have a connection with him at all. She was 4. And at some point, I said to my father, and I always said to my dad, "Hey, there will be a point of no return when you do not fix your relationship with your little daughter." And he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I know, but I don't know what I have to do." And I and my bigger sister, we gave him tips how to approach it and how to keep it lighthearted in the beginning, and he never did anything. We begged him to just show a little bit of interest in us, but he didn't want it. And at some point I said, "You know what? Fuck it. You have 3 daughters. Either you care for all of them or just leave it. I don't want to be in the position anymore that you put me in to either lie to my little sister or to be honest and hurt her." That's a shitty position for a sister to be in, because it's not right. When you have 3 daughters, why the fuck can't you just make a fucking Facebook group and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" That's it. But we didn't see him for, I think, 3 years almost, because my boyfriend and I, we're together now for more than 3 years, and my dad seen him once because he had to go to work. At some point we weren't invited for Christmas anymore, and it hurts because we miss our father, and my little sister basically never had one. At least not that she can remember it, because again, she was 4. And my little sister had pretty bad problems, and she texted him and said, "Hey, I have this, and I just wanted to tell you," and he didn't respond. And that's when I just lost it. I sent him a message saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you not care for your children? Why can you not even, when your little daughter has these problems, not even then respond?" And yeah, I told him that it's totally fucked up that he just cannot even care for his daughter when she needs one. Why do I, as his daughter, have to explain to him how to be a father? I think that's even horrible to say, but yeah. And he responded with, "Oh, you didn't call me the last few months or years, and which is weird because I stated either call your little daughter or leave us all alone." And it was 2 years ago and he didn't respond. 2019, on my birthday, I got a message from him. "Hey sweetie, happy birthday, we're on the way home from our vacation, I will call you tomorrow." I wait on this call till today, so I thought he made his choice, and now he threw it back on me and said, "Yeah, but you didn't call me either." And I know it sounds so strange, but I am sick and tired of asking myself with 27 years old why my daddy doesn't love me anymore. And that sucks, to be honest. It hurts so bad, and just talking about this, I still just want to cry about it, but I'm sick of crying because of him. That's why I don't. But for the first time in ever, I think, I didn't respond to his messages. And I'm normally the person I have to respond to everything, especially when I feel wronged. But that was the first time that this wasn't the case, because I had said everything. And I mentioned it in my message to him. I said, "This will be my last message, I think." And then I basically did shit in all of his life. And his response was, "If you wanna just break off all, it's unfortunate, but I cannot stop you." That was his response after us fighting for more than a decade to be part of his life. And yeah, that hit me so hard. I was crying quite a lot. I avoided visiting my little sister because I felt bad, especially for her, because on her it's now more than ever, because it's just shit. And I don't know why I felt the need to tell all of you, but I did, and that's why I do this video, because I think it's important to talk about that, especially since I just went off, and I just wanted you to know what was happening. And since the situation with my father is one of the reasons why I have BPD in the first place, this took a big hit. I felt the pressure to self-harm again. I didn't do anything, and I'm very proud of that. Oh shit, I wanted to do a different thing. Damn it! I was waiting so long for him to change, and I always had hopes. Every time he sent me a message, I was like, oh well, but now he's doing it. Now it is what we all wanted. And every time it turns out that it's just not the case, it hurts. I don't know any other way to describe it. It's just incredibly hurtful, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And that's why I made the decision to cut off my father entirely. For me, for now, there is no part of me that wants to respond to him. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to have doubts about myself because of his incompetence in being a father. And I know that sounds horrible, but that's how I feel. That's why I wanted to do this, but I needed quite a lot of time to adjust to the situation, because I think it's because of my BPD. I always have this, but what if I made the wrong decision? And I'm pretty confident in my decision to cut him off, but my brain just tells me every other day, but maybe. And that sucks. Let me be honest, that really sucks, but it's part of life. I need to get my shit together at some point, and when my father is the biggest part in my life that brings me instability and depression and feeling sad and losing my motivation to do anything, I have to do something about it. I've waited, I think, long enough, and now I just want to talk a little bit about mental health, because in my family, father's side family, my mother's side isn't like that. They do not think that mental health is that important. Yeah, these kinds of people. When I was in the mental health hospital, which I don't think is a bad thing. Please, people, start talking about mental health like it's a real thing. Because I'm not the only one. There's so many people with all of this, and it hurts me so bad that there's still people trying to make people in the mental health thing feel bad for having problems. You don't need to feel ashamed when you have a disorder like, I don't know, morbus Crohn or anything. You don't need to be ashamed of it, or diabetes. Why do I need to be ashamed because of my mental health? F you, that's your problem, not my problem. Because I can tell you one thing, the people in therapy are less crazy than the people that refuse to go to therapy. Because the people that refuse to are the ones with the biggest problems, and they're in denial of everything. So yeah, I venture to say I am less crazy than most of my family. But it was a hard time. I am still not over it yet, but I'm on the right path. As you see, I try to get back to making videos and streaming and stuff, but in the beginning I just didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I didn't even really talk with my boyfriend about how it was hurting me and stuff, because I don't know, I thought I had to deal with that myself. I dealt with it myself for the last 15 years, so I thought I had to do this. But I knew I could talk to some of you or all of you, or to my boyfriend, to my family, to my friends, but I didn't want it to, and that was okay for me in that moment, because sometimes you just don't want to talk, and that's okay. But it wasn't okay for me to just stop being online without a notice, to just stop doing these bloopers video for my Patreon. And if any one of you wants your money back, I absolutely can understand. I will do more, but I just want to ask for a little bit of patience to give me time to get there. If not, and you say, hey, I don't want to support you financially when there is no this benefit, I absolutely can understand, and I won't be mad or anything, because I just at the moment can't and didn't do what I promised to do. And if you say, hey, I really like your content and stuff, which I hope you do still, but I don't want to give you money for things you. But if you want to say, hey, I just don't want to give you money for the things you in the end just don't do, I totally get that. It's totally fine. I just wanted to be, now that I'm in a better headspace, upfront with everything, and not just, oh, I fucked up, I only talk to my patrons. No, because it's wrong. I advertise, I have my Patreon in the comment section, and if someone wants to go to my Patreon to maybe get the tier 2 with the bloopers videos, you have to know that at the moment I am not really reliable. And that is my problem, and I'm really, really sorry for it. That's why I wanted to do this video, because I just feel so bad that I just didn't say anything before now. And I just wanted to make this right, because I consider some of you my friends. I consider all of you so important for me, because it's just a crazy thought for me to think that there are people willingly, voluntarily listening to me talk. And I think I should be more appreciative about this, and I feel like I wasn't when I just went offline, didn't post much in my Discord server or in comments or anywhere basically, and I'm sorry. I'm just sorry, and I hope you guys can understand. If not, it's totally fine, because I fucked up. Not you, but nothing can change when you do not talk about it. That's why I want to talk about it. That's why, that was a weird sentence. That's why I wanted to talk about it. That's why I wanted to share it with all of my subscribers, because we fuck up, and owning up to stuff should be the next step. And I hope you can see that I really try, and I will finish whatever I'm doing here, and I see you in a bit. So as you can see, I'm ready now. It took way longer than I planned, but it was a lot of fun, and I was thinking about a lot of things. I will shorten this video probably quite a bit, because I was talking almost 40 minutes, so that's too much. And I think some details I included are not important, but that's basically who I am as a person. I talk. So yeah, I hope I could give a little bit of an explanation what was wrong. I know no one really mentioned anything to me in a negative way, like where have I been, why don't I do this, why don't I do this. And I really appreciate that all of you are like this. I hope it's not that some are just gone, but I really appreciate that it still seems that everyone is okay with it, but I wasn't okay with it. I felt bad, and now I am at a point where I say, hey, I want to talk about it. I want to give a little bit of an explanation and apologize, because I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's fair, not just to my Patreons, but especially to them, because they pay for something I didn't deliver. But I promise I am, as of right now, right before filming this and right after, I will do the next bloopers video, and that will be out soon. And I'm so sorry, and I promise I will get back into just being more active on social media and with all of you. But I needed just a few weeks. Yeah, because I have this cycle, and this is another thing I wanted to talk about, because it's normal to have certain emotions after something happens to you, regardless of if it's health related, if it's from friendships or love life, family, regardless. I, for example, found out I get over certain things in my life faster when I give myself the opportunity to go into a little bit of a self-pity party, because it's important. When you just push it away and act like, no, I'm so strong, but deep inside you feel a certain way, it will hold on to you even longer. But when you sit down and say, I feel like this, and that's okay, my experience is that it shortens the process. When I go to the doctor and I get another diagnosis that I did something, or my body did something that is stupid, like when I ruptured my tendon, I was sitting at home with tears in my eyes and saying to my boyfriend, why me? What is wrong with me? And by now he knows that I need this. I give myself something regarding or depending on the severity of the situation. I give myself 1 to 5 days of self-pity, where I dive deep into, oh, I feel so bad, no one can ever imagine, oh my god, it's the worst just for me, because I need that. I know that I just need to dive into it, and after a few days I'm sitting there like, what's wrong with you? Stop bitching and get yourself up. And that is my cycle, that is my way of handling certain situations, because just pushing back these emotions you have won't make them go away. And that's why I wanted to share this, because it helps me. I did this the last times, and I did it now the last 2 weeks or more, I don't know. And it helped me. It really did. It helped me. I feel better. I feel stronger, because I allowed myself to experience these emotions I have. Even though other people would say, oh, self-pity doesn't help, self-pity makes everything worse, or they could see you in a different light. But when I do have the emotions, I am allowed to feel them, to acknowledge them, because that's the only way they will go away. And I did this. I dealt with certain symptoms of my depression, but I am able, thanks to therapy and just training this, that I can also dive into my depression for a few days or just a shorter amount of weeks to give my brain the chance, feeling this, speaking all those thoughts out that your depression makes you think, and the other side of my brain can understand, like, nah, not really, that's not how we're feeling at all, actually. And that is not advice in that sense. If you feel the need to push away those negative emotions, that is just a thought you could maybe think about yourself if you're struggling, because ignoring everything makes it worse in the long run. Give yourself the opportunity, but know that after this amount of time, we get ourselves up and work to make things better, because it did help me. Maybe it could help you, maybe not, because everyone is different. But I just wanted to share this to say to you, it's normal, it happens, and we need just to stick up for ourselves, admit to our mistakes, and just keep doing better day by day. And I hope you guys did watch until now. I hope I can shorten the video down to a reasonable length. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for sticking by and supporting me in my channel, even though I at times just go offline for a certain amount of time. Thank you for still being here. I really appreciate it, and it did help me quite a lot through all of this, and I don't want to lose it. I don't want to fuck this thing up, because it's the first time in my life that I have something that is a hobby, a passion kind of, and maybe could become a job. And it's the first time that I just don't want to run away after feeling guilty and ashamed of something. And yeah, it opens new doors for me, and I wanted to thank you all. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next one. Bye.